The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. So today the topic that I'm going to talk about is automation is the key to digital transformation, right? So before I start, I just want to introduce the organization that I represent. Probably it will take a minute. So I represent the company called Zogo Corporation, and there's a division called Manage Engine. So Manage Engine is the IT enterprise management software division of Zogo Corporation. So it started in 1996, where the company name was called as Advanet, and initially we opened up a division called WebNMS, which was focusing on developing the SNMP API for telecom operators. And in 2000, we know that there was a global meltdown, and that model got stopped. So what we did was we used those SNMP API to build our first NMS solution in Manage Engine, which is on 2001. So we started our first NMS software under the Manage Engine division, and slowly, we saw there is a boom going on the cloud. And even before the Microsoft started their cloud, we jumped into the cloud. In 2005, we started another division called Zogo, which is completely into the cloud, catering more than 60 plus online applications for the business. And currently, Zogo division it has close to 13 million users across the globe, right, who are using our software. So as an organization, we are 10,500 employee, private, bootstrapped, and profitable since inception. And today we have office across the globe, and the data center, the R&D happens out of India. And talking about the customer base, we have close to 200,000 enterprise customers who are using Manage Engine solution across 180 countries. And we also run with along our partners. So we have close to 200 channel and technology partners across the globe, right? So that's about the organization, and whatever solution that we develop, our market is all homegrown solution. So that's about the organization. So moving back to the topic, right? So we always start with the question like how automation plays a key role in business. So today you take any industry, be it a manufacturing or an educational or a healthcare or a pharmaceutical or any industry for that matter, right? There's always there is an IT. So here what Manage Engine focuses, we try to automate a lot of things within IT so that you can shift your your focus from the IT to business. And how you can do it, only way is to automate a lot of things within IT so that you can focus your focus on the business side. Now within every team there are multiple service teams that are just like IT. So for example, take a case of travel, legal, HR, finance, and facilities. You might note that the facilities and HR could be something like a non-IT team, but here it also plays a very important role, right? So for example, these are the services that you may extend to your own organization, or even you may extend to your customers, right? So there are people who provides a service, and there are people who uses those services, right? So I would put in this way that if you talk about an organization, there is an end user or an employee, right? And above there is a data center, right? So with the help of data center, we facilitate these operations with the help of the employees to the service observers, which could be your employee or it could be your customers, right? Now, what are the automations that we bring into this kind of levels? That's what we're going to discuss, right? So the second thing is, talking about automation on the lower level, which can be your employee level or a user level. So let me take back you to a couple of, the solutions, and we'll have, a discussion over there. So basically, when I talk about user let's say user level automation, it all starts from a basic user onboarding. So it starts with a basic form where you will have to fill the form, where the form is completely dynamic. So the moment when you choose what type of employee that you're trying to add here, the form gets updated. And also whenever employee is onboarded, you can just, put across what are the, resources that you need. For example, there are some companies who provide transportation, lodging, and there are some company who provides a lot of other facilities for initial days, right? So here there is a mix and match of both IT and non-IT. So for example, this is one sample request where if you see the task, there are multiple departments are involved. So, there is one task where it has to add a user account in Active Directory, setting up an email account, giving a workstation, giving a workplace, and giving an access to enter into the building, access to the applications that they need to work. So there is a combination of IT and non-IT service teams are bundled together in order to fulfill a particular service request, right? So when I talk about user automation, so for example, let's say I bring up a solution where I can automate a lot of things over here. So there are multiple automation where I have user automations, computer automations, groups. So for example, if I go for user automation and I just want to create a user, I can choose whatever template. So here is where the automation plays a big role. I can look the users to be added over a CSV, or I can integrate with any database or any third-party application so that, for example, if you're using a PeopleSoft or a SAP HR module, the moment when you add an entry, it has to be added into your Active Directory. So we bring upon solutions that can automate things within your Active Directory so that it can integrate with multiple solutions. And also, the easiest thing I could say is if HR is trying to update the username, the first name and the last name and the department that the people is going to join, we can even put it on a share where I'll be able to see the share for every 20 minutes. And if there is a data that has been added, I'll be able to upload it, right? So that is the automation. Now, when we bring more and more automation, there has to be a controlled way of execution. And that is where I can also bring upon a business workflow. For example, we are talking about user automation, but within Active Directory, there could be n number of automations, right? Automations that may require a approval process or automation that may not require an approval process. For example, a simple password reset to a major OU or a group permission level changes, right? So in business workflow, I can define some roles like who is the requester and who is the approver, who is going to review it, and who is going to execute it. So that any automation that I do within the Active Directory or within the end user level, right, I'll be able to control the level of automations so that you will know who is accountable and who is responsible. So that's on the Active Directory side. Now, adding users or configuring email address is one thing. The second thing comes with providing the asset. So what we do over here is, we have another solution where we can onboard the asset right from deploying the OS on a bare metal machine and handling the complete inventory, the patch management, the software installation and uninstallation, and also pushing some policies and configurations along with the user administration, right? So this is like a one-stop solution where you will be able to manage the complete endpoints. It can be a laptop or a desktop or even a server running with Windows, Linux, or Mac OS machines, right? So here the automation what we bring is today, let's say, I would have clicked on a lot of different products, but ultimately everything has to work on a single UI. So if I take Service Desk as the command center, if you see here, I have an option where I can create a user in Active Directory, which will execute the changes which I've shown you on the other screen. And also, if I want to distribute the apps, then the software deployment from a different software will work on the same page, so that we are trying to contextually integrate multiple solutions within Manage Engine, stitch it together so that a technician who is providing a service to the end user or an employee will be able to focus on one single page where he can do the multitasking. So that is the level of automation that we are bringing, right? So here, for example, if there is an incident and for that you need to take a remote where you can initiate a remote control right from the other solution which has been integrated over here, so that the moment when you initiate a remote session, it asks you for the ticket ID, and that you do gets recorded. And the moment when you close the session, it opens up another pop-up and where you can update the ticket status with a note, and then you can close the ticket, right? Similar way, if there is any software request has been raised, we'll be able to check multiple things right from here, like seeing whether the software is a valid software or not a prohibited, whether you have a valid installation, and whether the end user machine has the right credentials, or like proper space, proper registry things, supporting softwares to be installed. Everything will be checked right from this particular screen. So as a technician, we will be able to look into one single screen, but we'll be able to perform multitasking, like bringing on the user management, bringing on the asset management on top of it. So these are all the list of automations that we bring across. And so if we move to the one layer above, right, we have something called data center. So in data center, normally what we have is all your network components, servers, applications, everything. So here with our NMS solution, we'll be able to see the complete performance of your infrastructure components. It could be your network, server, application, database, web servers, ERP, you name anything, right? So here, normally what this does is it does a proactive monitoring and gives you if there is any problem, right? But what is the remediation? So today, there are a lot of companies, spend more amount on their L1 technicians just to check few things, right? So how do we automate such things to reduce the cost over there? That's where we introduce some workflow. So let's say you have a event which says that something wrong with your SQL application or some SQL database, right? If I'm a technician, normally what I will do is I will try to ping the server. If it is reachable, I will try to check the services or the process that is running. Third thing, I will see if there is any exceptions. Probably I would look into some transaction logs to see if there is any bottleneck, and if it is so, right, and I would try to recompress or move the file or edit or delete the file, right? So here the product will give you an information on there is a problem in your transaction log, which means the root cause is already determined. Now the remediation is what you have to bring people and process to do it, which is where we are automating things. For example, let's say if I want to automate the same L1 task, I wanted to just ping a device where the device name can be obtained from the alarms. Then if the device is not pinging, probably I can even try to do a trace route. And once it is all running, I can get all the process that are running. Or if I want to just stop a process, or if I want to see the process by CPU usage, disk usage, I can bring it over here. And then if I want to check a specific file, I can even check the file where I can mention the file name over here. So this file name can be your transaction log file location. And if you want to get the file size, or if you want to rename the file, uncompress the file, you can do it. So let's say if I want to move some specific file, let's say I'll bring it to D colon whatever, I can do it. Similarly, there are a lot of operations that I can do, right? From Windows services, I can get a list of active services. I can pause a service, restart a service, and I can test a service. And also that goes the same for the process. And I can also perform a lot of operations regarding to, the FTP, file and folder operations that can be done. And I can also handle the VMware related operations. So here, if you want to spin a new VM, or if you want to switch off a VM, or if you want to refresh the data store, all these things can be configured, right? And also I can acknowledge alarms to make sure that only one person is looking into the particular alarm. And I can also clear the alarm status, put device in maintenance, exit the device from the maintenance, right? And there are a couple of external actions, right? I can create n number of workflows. One is to ping a device, one is to execute a Linux or a Windows script, or one is to make some changes in the files and folders or something. So likewise, I can have multiple workflow which I can integrate, or which I can bundle it together, and it can be executed as a remediation for specific alarms and events, right? And even I can send out a notifications. And also, if there are some changes has to be done on the network level, the best practice is to take a backup configuration. So I can automatically back up the configurations of the network device. And if I want to modify some configurations, I can do it. So So these kind of automations, will play a vital role in terms of reducing your L1 cost, wherein the product would be able to automate a lot of things, right? And these kind of automations can be triggered based on the alarms and events that is being raised, or even you can schedule it. So for example, if you have any planned maintenance, you will be able to execute those planned maintenance on a specific interval where you can make use of these things, right? So these are the different set of automations that we bring onto the table. So going back to my presentation, so I will skip the 2 slides, because those two slides are the one that we discussed over here. The automations that are available in the data center and the automations that are available in the the user level automations, right? Now, being a 10,500 employee company with more than 10 data centers across the globe, we don't buy solution. We call a phrase called Zogo runs on Zogo, which means we don't buy solutions from outside. We use our very own solution. So from the Zogo, we have all the Microsoft application. For example, Zogo has its own ERP platform, which we use, and all our end users and the data centers has been managed by the managing solution, right? So because of this, since there is a rigorous testing for 10,500 employee, we are able to contextually integrate the solution. For example, taking the ITSM as a command center, we can integrate with Active Directory to manage, automate, and report the Active Directory. And we can also integrate with the IT operations, handling all the incidents, events, automations in terms of the data center. And also we integrate that with the endpoint management in order to push the patches or software deployment or inventory management or configurations management, remote connections, etc. And we also integrate that with the AD self-service, which is nothing but the self-service password reset. So normally in our company, we don't reach out to these system administrators to reset our password. We do it our own self. So we do have solutions which can enable the end user to reset their own passwords. So we don't need to wait for the system administrators to help us, right? And similarly, we have the Password Manager Pro, which is our privileged access and privileged password management, which integrates with our ITSM whenever you request for a password or whenever you request for an access for some critical application. So these two solutions can talk to each other and can channelize the access to the critical infrastructure, right? So, and also we have the advanced analytics. Today, what we do is we try to integrate the advanced analytics within the manage engine so that it can give you a holistic picture on how well your business is performing, what are the areas that you need to concentrate. So all these kind of insights the analytics plus would be able to do. So I would say the USP for manage engine is we have a wide portfolio of solutions. So if you see, there are like 90 plus solutions that we have. Everything is homegrown. Out of 90, 50 are free and 40 are paid, and that 40 is being segregated into different verticals. So you can see IT service management, unified endpoint management, IT security management, identity and access management, IT operations, and analytics. So since Zogo being a cloud-based offering, we do have solutions from the cloud, which is being hosted from our own cloud across the globe. And we also have a couple of solutions that are readily available for the MSPs. For example, infrastructure monitoring, like your network application server on the cloud, MSP ready, ITL help desk, that's MSP ready, the endpoint management, which is MSP ready. So there are a lot of solutions, which we have MSP flavors available in the cloud, right? So the last thing which I just wanted to show you is, the analytics component. So every solution that we have, it comes and it integrates with the analytics. So for example, if I'm trying to integrate the ITSM solution with my analytics, right? So the ITSM has its own reporting function, but what analytics does is, on top of that, it can compare your historical data and with the current data, and it can give you the trends, right? So for example, if you see a CIO dashboard over here, you can see in Q4 20 what is your unsatisfied customer, how many major outages, what are your backlogs, how many active technicians, what is your cost per request. So you can drill down to the underlying data and you can see the data. And also from the asset perspective, you can see how many assets are not scanned more than 30 days and asset with history of incident. So these things will give you a clear picture on your life cycle of the asset, whether it has to be expired, disposed, or put on a planned maintenance. And also we have the administrator overview. For example, how many systems are there, how many system agent installation is successful or failed, right? And percentage of compute that needs an upgrade. So all these kind of dashboards. So for example, if you see, there are multiple dashboards that are readily available within this, and still if you want to create your own dashboards, you can do it. And of course, the integration is not restricted within the Manage Engine. Even you can integrate this solution with any third-party solutions where we have extended our API. So this can be a single dashboard kind of a thing, which can play a major role in bringing information from multiple systems put in a common place where you'll be able to take a business decision reports, right? So so that's it from my end. So you can, if you have any questions, we have our folks available in the expo. You can reach out to them. And if you have any questions or anything, you can reach out to me. You can note down my email address. It's Praveen, Praveen @manageengine.com. Thank you. Thank you for the time. Hi, Elena.
Thank you very much, Praveen, for your presentation. It was very interesting.
Thank you.
And we motivate our participants, the attendees, to go to your booth and to ask questions, to go into live sessions, and to have more details about your products. We would be glad to see that all the participants are active. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and we appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for presentation, Praveen. Vă mulțumesc tuturor. Deci, ce vreau să precompletez la prezentarea făcută de colegul nostru Praveen. Deci, să fiți siguri de soluțiile Manage Engine, 1 la mână, 2. Deci, atunci când aveți nevoie de una din soluțiile, atât pe partea de monitorizare, partea de infrastructură, helpdesk, auditing, Active Directory, management Active Directory. Deci, soluțiile Manage Engine sunt foarte multe, de aceea vă recomandăm și insistăm să le testați. În cazul în care, dacă aveți întrebări, apelați la noi la RSD. Avem o echipă care cunoaște foarte bine soluțiile și vă vine în ajutor. Pentru asta nu cerem bani, vă recomandăm să testați, să vedeți cât sunt de bune, în cazul în care acoperă sau nu acoperă necesitățile pe care le aveți și să le puteți utiliza pentru uz intern.
Mulțumim.